Have you ever wondered why some men manage to maintain an active and fulfilling sex life even after 50, while others start facing issues like erectile dysfunction? Today, I'm going to reveal what that small 2% of men have discovered to naturally improve their performance without relying on magic pills or temporary fixes. And I assure you, it's not what you think. Picture this, an ordinary night. You and your partner are together, the lights dimmed, soft music playing in the background. Everything seems to be going well, but then it hits you. That nagging thought in the back of your mind. Will it work this time? And just when you worry the most, that's when things don't go as planned. Frustrating, right? It may have happened to you once, twice, or maybe even many times. If that's the case, I completely understand. It's something that affects not only your body, but also your mind, your confidence. And the pressure that builds up from that moment doesn't help at all. In fact, the more you obsess over performance, the worse things tend to get. But what if I told you the solution is much simpler than it seems, and that it's within your reach? We're not talking about magic or impossible shortcuts. Today, I want to show you something you may never have considered. What you'll discover in this video is backed by scientific studies and the best experts in sexuality, but even more importantly, by real-life experience from men who found a way to improve their intimate life without complications. Men just like you, who one day decided to shift their perspective and rediscover true pleasure, not just in bed, but in the connection they share with their partners. So, if this is your first time here, I invite you to subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss any of the tips we'll be sharing to help you revitalize your intimate life, both physically and emotionally. Let's get started. 1. The myth of performance. For years, we've been sold the idea that masculinity is measured by sexual performance, that if everything works perfectly in bed, you're more of a man. And if it doesn't, well, the doubts, frustration, and even fear start creeping in. But I want you to stop for a moment and think, seriously? Does your worth as a man come down to a simple biological function? If it sounds absurd, that's because it is. Yet many fall into this trap without even realizing it. Let me explain. The problem isn't the dysfunction itself, but the mental pressure you put on yourself to avoid it. When all you have in your head is, will I perform? You're already setting yourself up for failure. A study published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine confirms that performance-related anxiety is one of the leading causes of erectile dysfunction. Yes, stress and the obsession with performing are the real saboteurs in many cases. Here's the ironic part. The more you obsess over performance, the less likely things are to go as you expect. It's like trying to catch water with your hands. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips away. So, the first step to naturally improving erectile dysfunction is to change your perspective. Instead of focusing on performance, focus on enjoying the moment. It sounds almost counterintuitive, right? But it's in that relaxation, in that emotional connection with your partner, where the true pleasure lies. Stop viewing intimacy as an exam you have to ace. Your masculinity is not defined by an erection. How about the next time you're with your partner, you forget about expectations and just enjoy what's happening in the moment? Maybe you'll explore new forms of intimacy, from oral sex to simple, tender touches, those little gestures of closeness that sometimes seem insignificant but are everything. The men who've understood this, that 2% I mentioned earlier, have discovered that the key to overcoming erectile dysfunction isn't focusing more on the problem, it's letting go of it. They've learned to enjoy the present, to feel without pressure, and to explore forms of intimacy that don't solely depend on penetration. And this, my friend, is freeing. So next time you find yourself in that situation, try something different. Relax, take a deep breath, and remember that the value of your connection with your partner goes far beyond what happens between the sheets. That's where the real pleasure begins. After all, as the Greek philosopher Epictetus said, it's not the things themselves that disturb us, but the opinions we have of them. And trust me, Changing that opinion about what performance means can do more for you than any pill ever could. 2. No pressure, just pleasure. Sometimes the real issue isn't physical, it's what's happening in your mind. One of the biggest obstacles many men face is the pressure they put on themselves to perform. It feels like the entire intimate experience depends on that, but the truth couldn't be further from reality. Today, I want to talk to you about something that can completely change the way you experience intimacy: pleasure without pressure. Think about those times when you weren't worried about how things were going to go, when you were just there, present, enjoying the moment, and everything flowed. What if all your intimate experiences could be like that? The first thing you need to understand is that intimacy isn't just about penetration. It's only one part of the map, and there's so much more territory to explore. When all the focus is on that, you're missing out on countless ways to enjoy, and most importantly, connect with your partner. Let me tell you something you might not know. A study published in the Journal of Sex Research found that couples who explore different forms of intimacy, like touch, sensual massages, oral sex, and even simple prolonged caresses, report higher levels of satisfaction than those who focus solely on penetration. Interesting, right? So why not make this part of your intimate life? Here's an idea that might seem simple, but is incredibly powerful. Change the goal. Instead of thinking, I have to get an erection, think, I'm going to enjoy what my partner and I are sharing. The difference is huge, because when you free yourself from that burden, that expectation weighing on your shoulders, pleasure begins to flow naturally. Your partner plays a fundamental role in this too. Many times we believe they have sky-high expectations about performance, but in reality, what they value most is connection, attention, and emotional closeness. I've spoken with many women who say, what I find most attractive about my partner is when he's present, when he touches me calmly, when there's no rush. And that changes the entire atmosphere, because when both of you are more relaxed, that's when the real magic happens. Here's a great tip I want to share with you: music. That's right. Something as simple as a playlist with soft, calming melodies can make a huge difference. A study from McGill University in Canada found that listening to pleasurable music increases dopamine levels, the hormone that makes us feel good. And when you feel good, everything flows better, right? So why not use it to your advantage? The next time you're about to have an intimate moment, try playing something relaxing in the background. I guarantee it will change the mood. Communicating with your partner is also key. Sometimes we don't say what we're feeling because we're afraid of how they'll react. But the truth is, talking about what you're experiencing in a relaxed and honest way can relieve a huge amount of tension. You don't need to give a big speech or turn it into couples therapy. Just be honest. I'm enjoying this, but I'd like to take it slow, or let's try something different. These small conversations build intimacy and trust. And that, my friend, has a much bigger impact on your sex life than any technique you could try. That's what it's all about, shifting the focus. If you take the pressure off, I have to perform, and replace it with, let's enjoy this without rushing, you'll notice how things start to change. Intimacy becomes more relaxed, more natural, and yes, erections start to happen more easily too, not because you're chasing them, but because your mind is no longer working against you. So the next time you find yourself in that situation, forget the expectations. Let pleasure guide the moment. Because in the end, what matters is how you connect, how you enjoy, and how you share that time with your partner. And when you achieve that, everything else falls into place. 3. Intimate communication. Communication in a relationship is like oxygen. Without it, everything slowly suffocates, including intimacy. But when it comes to sensitive topics like erectile dysfunction, many men choose to stay silent, avoiding the conversation as if not talking about it will make the problem disappear. Spoiler, it doesn't. Let's be clear, you don't need to be a poet or have a deep, hour-long talk. Sometimes, just opening up a little and saying what you really feel is enough. Telling your partner that you're dealing with something, without dramatics or over-explaining, can take a huge weight off your shoulders. And here's the best part. You'll likely be surprised at how well she reacts. Most women appreciate honesty far more than any attempt to hide the problem. A study published in the Journal of Sex and Marital Therapy found that couples who openly talk about their sexual issues not only report higher satisfaction in their relationships, but also experience significant improvements in the quality of their intimate lives. Why? Because honesty opens doors. When both of you are on the same page, there's no room for guessing or the classic, "What is she thinking?" that causes so much stress. Here's something important. When you talk, you also listen. Ask your partner how she feels, what she enjoys, what makes her feel more connected. Sometimes we believe we have to know everything, but the truth is, every person is unique. That conversation you've been avoiding might just be the start of a renewed intimacy, where it's not about whether you perform or not, but about how you can both enjoy each other in new and deeper ways. Here's a simple idea. Instead of silently searching for solutions, why not make it a journey you explore together? Remember, intimacy isn't just physical, it's also emotional. When you open up to your partner, you're creating a much stronger bond, and that, believe me, can improve not just what happens in bed, but your entire relationship. So next time you feel that tension building, take a deep breath and talk. Your partner will not only understand, but will probably feel more connected to you than ever. And that, my friend, is what truly matters. 4. How to enjoy the moment and regain control. One of the most common mistakes when it comes to intimacy is rushing. Many men are so focused on what should happen that they forget about what is happening. Sound familiar? Sometimes everything becomes a race, a sprint to the finish, when what you really need to do is slow down and enjoy the journey. The moment you disconnect and start thinking, when will the erection happen? Or how will this end? You've already lost control. It's a common mistake, believing that a good experience depends on things happening quickly and perfectly. But intimacy, like life, doesn't work well when rushed. The key to regaining control isn't forcing your body to respond. It's giving it space to react naturally. Next time, try shifting your focus. Instead of worrying about what needs to happen at the end, concentrate on what's happening in the moment. Feel the touch of the skin, the warmth, the rhythm of breathing. By letting go of expectations, you create space for things to flow without pressure. In the end, intimacy isn't just about the physical, it's about everything you feel and share in that moment. Another thing you can do is extend the foreplay. We often forget how important it is to build an atmosphere of trust and relaxation. Kissing, caressing, having a more intimate conversation, these things prepare the ground in ways you might not realize. Here's the interesting part. The more time you spend in these moments, the more relaxed both of you will be. And when you're relaxed, your body responds better. Many men struggle with this because they've grown up with the idea that the most important thing is to complete the mission. But the reality is that what happens before that, the kissing, the touching, the moments when you're simply connected, is what really creates the magic. So if you take the time to enjoy the journey, instead of just focusing on the goal, you'll see how things start to change naturally. Don't worry about the destination, enjoy the journey. Because in those small moments of calm and connection is where the real pleasure lies, and where you'll regain control, effortlessly and stress-free. 5. What you eat affects more than you think. The connection between what you eat and your performance in intimacy is much closer than you might realize. Your body works like a machine, and what you put in it directly affects how it responds in key moments. Don't worry, I'm not here to tell you to drastically change your diet or give up your favorite foods. The idea is to make small adjustments that can make a big difference. Let's get straight to it. A heavy, greasy meal before an intimate encounter isn't your best friend. Excess fat and sugar can leave you feeling sluggish, low on energy, and yes, it affects your circulation, which clearly doesn't help when you need everything to work smoothly. What you might not know is that erectile dysfunction is closely linked to circulation issues, and what you eat directly impacts your blood flow. So, if you want better blood flow, start by reviewing your diet. For instance, spinach and other leafy greens are rich in nitrates, which help improve circulation. It doesn't have to be complicated. A spinach salad for lunch or dinner can be a powerful ally. Berries like blueberries, strawberries, and raspberries are also excellent choices because of their high antioxidant content, which supports healthy blood vessels. A handful of these as a snack or dessert is not only delicious, but also improves circulation. Another great ally is nuts, especially walnuts and almonds, which are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, essential for cardiovascular health. Eating a handful of nuts daily can do wonders for your performance. Even dark chocolate, as long as it's at least 70% cocoa, is a good option. It helps dilate blood vessels, improving blood flow. A small square after dinner not only satisfies a craving, but also works in your favor. When thinking of a light, healthy dinner, fatty fish like salmon, tuna, or mackerel should be your go-to. These fish are packed with omega-3s, which not only boost circulation, but also increase the production of nitric oxide, essential for maintaining a firm erection. A light dinner with grilled fish might be just what your body needs. Even something as simple as garlic can work wonders, as it has properties that improve blood circulation. So, while it may not be the sexiest in terms of breath, don't hesitate to add it to your meals. If you're looking for a fresher trick, watermelon is a fruit that can do wonders for your intimate life. It contains citrulline, an amino acid that relaxes and dilates blood vessels similarly to how Viagra works, but naturally. On the other hand, if your diet is filled with processed foods, fried items, refined sugars, and excessive alcohol, it's time to make some changes. It's not about eliminating everything, but cutting back, as these foods not only affect your intimate performance, but also your overall energy and well-being. Here's a quick tip. Before an intimate moment, go for a light meal. Something like a salad with fish or a combination of fruits and nuts is ideal. These meals won't leave you feeling heavy and will give your body what it needs to perform optimally. Remember, this isn't about becoming a health fanatic, but about making small changes in what you eat that can have a huge impact on how you feel and how you respond in key moments. Eating well not only helps improve your sex life, but also fills you with energy, boosts your mood, and enhances your overall well-being. So, the next time you're planning dinner before a special night, you know where to start. 6. How stress is sabotaging your sex life. Stress is that silent enemy we all underestimate. We let it creep in without realizing it, and suddenly, it's everywhere. Work, finances, family responsibilities, until one day, you notice it's affecting your intimate life too. And the worst part is that when it gets to that point, the last thing you need is more pressure. Stress doesn't just affect your mind, it has a direct impact on your body, especially when it comes to sexual performance. Imagine your body is like a high-end sports car. For it to run well, it needs proper care, a well-tuned engine, and the right fuel. Now, if you're constantly driving it at full speed, demanding more than it can handle, and never taking it in for maintenance, what do you think will happen? Exactly. One day, it just won't start. The same thing happens to your body when it's overloaded with stress. Cortisol, that infamous stress hormone, is like an emergency brake your body pulls when it feels like it's in survival mode. And guess what? When that brake is activated, things don't flow as they should, especially in the sexual department. To make matters worse, stress makes you obsess over performance, creating a vicious cycle. The more worried you are about your performance, the less likely things are to work. But here's the good news. Breaking that cycle isn't as hard as it seems. With a few simple exercises, you can start reducing the impact of stress on your sex life and regain the control you feel you've lost. First, try mindful breathing. It's so basic that we often overlook it, but you'd be surprised at how effective it can be. When you feel stress starting to take over, take 5 minutes to sit in a quiet spot. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Inhale to a count of 4, hold for another 4 seconds, and then exhale slowly for 4 more seconds. Do this for 5 minutes. This type of breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which essentially tells your body it's time to relax. It's like releasing the emergency brake, allowing things to flow again. Try it before an intimate moment or even throughout the day to keep anxiety at bay. Another helpful exercise is relaxing visualization. Close your eyes and imagine yourself in a place where you feel completely at peace. Maybe it's a beach, a mountain, or any place that brings you tranquility. While you're there, imagine every detail: the sound of the wind, the warmth of the sun, the smell of the ocean. Hold on to that image for a few minutes. This exercise helps disconnect your mind from daily worries and reduces anxiety, allowing your body to relax. You can also try progressive muscle relaxation. It's as simple as tensing and relaxing different muscle groups in your body. Start with your feet, tense your muscles for 5 seconds, then release. Do the same with your legs, abdomen, arms, and even your face. This type of exercise not only helps release physical tension, but also keeps you focused on the present, which is crucial for reducing stress's impact on your sex life. Think of this like tuning up that sports car we talked about earlier. You can't expect it to run at its best if you never take the time to get everything in order. Each of these exercises is like a quick tune-up that helps your body shed the load it's been carrying. Stress also tends to feed emotional disconnection. When you're constantly in problem-solving mode, you forget something key: enjoying the moment. And here's the final trick. It's more of an invitation. Don't obsess over the outcome. When you're too focused on making everything perfect, you forget the most important thing: being present. So, the next time you feel stress taking over, try one of these exercises. Think of them as small adjustments that help you get back on track. And most importantly, remember that intimacy isn't a test you have to pass. It's a space to connect, to enjoy, and, above all, to relax. When you manage to reduce stress, your body will start to respond naturally, and what once seemed like an impossible problem will begin to fade away. 7. What your partner really wants from you. Here's a truth that often gets overlooked. Your partner, the person by your side, isn't with you just because of what you can do in bed. In fact, what they value most about you goes far beyond your performance. Sure, physical intimacy is important, but what truly matters in a relationship is the emotional connection, support, trust, and presence you bring. Sometimes we get so caught up in the idea that we need to meet certain expectations that we forget the essentials. The reality is that what your partner is looking for isn't a flawless performance or a movie-like scene. What they truly desire is to feel your presence, connection, and attentiveness. They want to share those intimate moments where, more than the final outcome, what matters is the feeling of closeness and complicity. Try this. Instead of focusing solely on the physical, ask your partner how they feel, what they like, what excites them. Listen deeply, without thinking about what you should do next. When you focus on what really matters, like their emotions, needs, and desires, that's when you build a much deeper and more fulfilling intimacy. Something we often overlook is that, for the vast majority of women, the emotional bond is more important than the physical one. What truly matters to them is knowing that you're there, that you care about the little details, and that you're willing to share not just physical pleasure, but the emotional connection that comes with it. That kind of closeness is what strengthens the relationship and, paradoxically, also improves what happens physically. So the next time you feel pressured to meet certain expectations, take a deep breath and remember that your partner isn't with you just for your performance. What they truly value is your attention, your affection, and your willingness to be present, to enjoy the moment, and to share more than just the physical aspect of the relationship. When you understand this, everything changes. The pressure fades, and you realize that intimacy is much richer and more complete when both of you are connected on a deeper level. At the end of the day, what your partner wants is to feel loved and appreciated for who you are, not for what you do. And once you internalize this truth, it transforms the way you experience your intimate life. Now that we've reached the end, I'd like to invite you to reflect on what we've discussed today. We all go through difficult moments, but what truly matters is how we face them and grow from them. My name is Celia, and I want this to be a space where we can openly talk about these important topics without filters, but always with respect. Together, I want us to find ways to improve our daily quality of life, not just in intimacy, but in everything we do. Because in the end, every small change we make in ourselves reflects in our relationships and overall well-being. If this is your first time on the channel, I invite you to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the upcoming topics we'll be covering. And if you've made it this far, it means you take your personal growth seriously, and that deserves recognition. To know who the committed ones are that stayed until the end, comment with the phrase, "I love wisdom." I'd love to read your comments and see who's with me on this journey of self-discovery. And don't leave without sharing this video with your loved ones. Maybe someone in your life needs to hear these words today and gain a fresh perspective. Sometimes a small piece of advice can make a big difference. See you in the next video.